Good morning, good evening, everyone, and hope everyone is fine and fine. Welcome to this Sky High series. Welcome to this Sky High Symposium series 10, and I welcome our council member Sri Rajendra Kumarji, the Central Council member from Chennai, and our beloved speaker. We have with us today Dr. Sonal and CA Neha Gada, and my beloved coordinators for and all beautiful intercom all of you to this Sky High Symposium series 10, and this is the 10th one which we are doing today, and it's our endeavor to serve the best to the women fraternity of our institute, and we want to motivate all women fraternity so that they rise to the profession and scale to the new heights and reach the sky is no limit, what we believe. And we are giving opportunity to all the women members, and I request if anyone wants to be the coordinator or speaker, please feel free to connect with us. And with this brief welcome, I now request our senior Central Council member, CA Rajendra Kumar Ji, to share his words of wisdom.
Thank you, Priti Madam. Thank you very much for inviting me to this wonderful program that your committee is being organizing. The Sky High Symposium today is series number 10. I am honored to be present here. And I am conscious of the fact that I am amidst the most successful women of this country. Yourself and Sri Priya Madam being spearheading the committee's initiatives. In fact, when I think of womanhood, or women in particular, I'm reminded of what Winston Churchill said. He said, the best things in life can be expressed in one word: hope, faith, courage, mercy. And all these words can be attributed especially to Indian women. Hope, our mother. Courage, we have immense examples in the Indian continent. Faith, our wife. Mercy, again, entire women, because they have a heart which always forgives. In our institute also, we work with many gracious women, intelligent, and also those who contribute and walk that extra mile for the institute. Today's program, I find Dr. Sona Jaiswal speaking on achieving work-life balance in professional life, and CA Neha Gada. In fact, madam, when I read your name, immediately one smile escaped my face, because I'm a big fan of
Tarak Mehta.
Tarak Mehta ka Ulta Chashma.
Yes.
And Mr. Gada, the character in that, and the Gada Electronics is popular worldwide. Champaklal Gada. In fact, so I'm conscious of the fact that many of them will be watching and will be certainly connecting your surname to the character of Gada in that particular series of television which comes.
Yes. Yes.
And as your topic, professional opportunity as women independent directors. Myself, being an independent director in certain public sector and also other units, other corporates, I'm certainly confident that this topic, as well as Dr. Sonal Jaiswal's achieving work-life balance in professional life. Ladies, 22 years I have been in this particular institute's work in some form or the other. Starting in the year 2000, we are now in 2022. And I'm conscious that how much difficult it is for a person like me to spend this much amount of time, and having closely seen my mother, my wife, my sister, and also my professional partners. I always tell this to my professional partners that, look, you're all someone who is beyond yourself. All of us look up to you. And this balance that you maintain is hats off to all of you. It's a great topic, and I'm confident that all the gracious ladies who will be watching this program would certainly be able to take a leaf out of what they're going to speak today and try to take giant leaps in their respective careers. Career does not mean working only in a corporate and earning money. Career means even looking after home and also its people, and you do both. Opportunities a women independent director. Yes, it is now compulsory for every corporate above a particular limit turnover to have a women independent director. They make a difference. Like in the council today, we have 3 ladies whose presence, sheer presence, makes a difference, puts many of us on guard. This is something very, very important. They bring a flavor of, as I said, mercy, hope, courage, and esteemed friends. The corporate world out there has become extremely dynamic, and this dynamism has ensured that many women are leading at the top, either as directors, CFOs, or CEOs, and so on. So a women independent director would make a marked difference in any corporate that you name it. I congratulate the committee on organizing such useful programs, and the VCMs that we organize, the online programs, would certainly help in reaching out to larger audience. And I'm confident that these programs, the objectives for which they have been organized, would certainly will be achieved and also are being achieved. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Madam Preeti, for inviting me. Thank you, Sri Priya Madam in absentia. And thank you, Office, for giving me company in this council hall from the ICA New Delhi headquarters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajendra Kumar, for your words of wisdom. And what you have said is perfectly right for all the women professionals. And thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts with us. And it's what we feel, it's an opportunity which we want to give to all women professionals by organizing this type of series. And every week we are at least able to cover 5 members, either as a speaker or as a coordinator.
Wonderful.
And at least 800 to 1000 participants are there. So that each one is, getting the knowledge and motivated also. And with this, now let us start our program for the today. And I give it to the coordinators. So thank you so much.
Hello all. Firstly, I would like to thank Women Members Empowerment Committee to give me this opportunity. With an immense pleasure, I would like to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Sonal Jain Jaiswal. In true words, she is a spiritual and wellness coach. She has completed her bachelor's in technology and computer from Kolkata and then management studies from Lancaster University, UK. But realizing that her purpose was different, she chose to do master's in psychotherapy and counseling from IMPS, Nagpur, and a course in emotional intelligence from London. Recently, she has been confirmed upon with a doctorate for completing her research in Garbha Sanskar on achieving a divine and hostelic child in the womb. She has done quite a lot of certification course in Reiki healing, career counseling, yogic counseling, etc. To ensure her knowledge reached a bigger audience, she has started Ahimsa channel, a sister of Asta channel under the guidance of her father, Sri Santosh Jain. As the CEO of Ahimsa channel, she had the opportunity to learn from many spiritual gurus from all the faiths, including Acharya Mahaprayagji Swami, Baba Ramdev, etc. She is a discipline of Avut Baba Shivanand, and she has moved ahead in her spiritual journey under his guidance from last 12 years. She has conducted innumerable motivational workshops and seminars for students, women, and corporate like Lokmat Group, Rayosoni Institution, different professional institutes, etc. She has awarded as top 10 outstanding young Indian achievers in 2010 by JCI India and had a monthly column in Economic Times as well as weekly column in Lokmat Times. She is a part of advisory committee of Jain International School, Nagpur, and founder trustee of Siddhant, a spiritual home for Samit Sikhaji, Jharkhand. She was a speaker at the Global Wellness Summit 2021, wherein she had the grand opportunity to virtually share the stage with the EMIT international healers, authors, and coach. During the pandemic period, she has boosted the morale of thousands of people through Zoom sessions, for which she has been awarded as Exceptional Wellness Coach of the Year and also Global Chakra Princess. Currently, she is pursuing her doctorate, wherein she is directly guiding hundreds of women on Garbha Sanskar and helping them to achieve a divine holistic wishful child. She also runs a WhatsApp group called Spiritual Awakening, wherein she is helping thousands of seekers to achieve life of their dreams. Her regular video uploads on YouTube is truly motivating and inspirational. She is also writing books on Garbha Sanskar and spiritual intelligence, which is due to release soon. She is also devoted towards Gau Seva and manages her Gaushala with 200 plus Gau mates. She is married to Abhishek Jaiswal in Nagpur, and she is blessed with 2 divine kids. With such brief introduction, I would like Dr. Sonal Jain to continue and start with the today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ICAI, for inviting me to the session. It is truly an honor for me to be a part of this elite women committee. I would rather say that this is one of the best brains of the country, and today I am directly interacting with all of you. That's a big honor. In fact, I'm not a CA, but I'm born and brought up in an environment of CAs. My father himself is a chartered accountant. He was an All India ranker, 15th in All India, 3rd in Eastern India. So I know what a CA is all about. And to be very honest, I did dream of becoming a CA. Good, I didn't become a CA, but today I'm addressing all of you so that in some way, takes care of my aspirations. I won't take much of your time and immediately start with our topic on work-life balance. In fact, more than work-life balance, I'd like to call it work-life harmony, because work and life, these two are purak of each other. They support each other and they need to work in tandem. It's not about just balancing. It's about helping one aspect to take care of the other aspect. If family is settled, it takes care of work. If work is settled, then it takes care of the family. So today in our session, we'll come up with ways how to take care of work-life harmony. So with this, I start my session and I share my screen. Can any of you just confirm to me whether you're able to see my screen, my PPT?
Yeah, it's visible.
It's visible? Yeah. Perfect. So with this, I start my session for today, work-life harmony for women professionals. First of all, burnout. What is this burnout? According to the latest Harvard Business Review report, employee burnout is rising exponentially. WHO, World Health Organization, has officially included burnout in its 11th revision of International Classification of Diseases. Burnout is now regarded as a disease. In a recent study, WHO has estimated a loss of 1 trillion due to lost productivity every year because of burnout. So burnout is not an individual concern anymore. It is rather a global issue. It's not that just because of burnout an individual is suffering. The whole economy is suffering because of burnout, and it's a very, very, very serious issue at the moment. What is the consequences of job burnout? It leads to excessive stress, fatigue, insomnia, sleep disorders, vulnerability to diseases like lifestyle disorder diseases like heart disease, blood pressure, diabetes. We have got innumerable example. Recently, singer KK, he died just after his show in Kolkata. It is one of example of the lifestyle disorder, that how can somebody just die like that. It leads to addictions, alcohol, substance misuse, and the greatest addiction at the moment is addiction to electronics. Then it leads to emotional disturbance, sadness, anger, irritability. It leads to absenteeism in workplace, loss in productivity, disturbed relationship, and in extreme cases, it goes to mental breakdown and can often lead to suicide. Example of owner of Cafe Coffee Day, VG Siddharth, is one of the live example where how burnout, stress could lead to loss of mental balance and suicide. And there are innumerable other cases. We won't go into all the details of this, because our purpose of today is how to get over it, how to get over burnout, because burnout is at every stage, it is hovering above us, and we need to have the right techniques, the right ways in place to ensure that we overcome this burnout and manage our work life harmony. Now, burnout in women, like some very alarming statistics. Recent data looking specifically at burnout in women is concerning. According to a survey by LinkedIn of almost 5,000 Americans, 74% women were suffering from burnout compared to just 61% of their male counterpart. Another survey done by Great Place to Work and Healthcare Maven found that mothers in paid employment are 23% more likely to experience burnout than fathers in paid employment. An estimated 2.35 million working mothers in US suffered from burnout from the start of pandemic. And in September last year, just as the pandemic was gaining pace, more than 8.6 lakhs women dropped out of their work compared to just 2 lakh men. One estimate put the numbers of mothers who quit US workforce between February and September last year is almost 9 lakh compared to number of fathers, which was at 3 lakhs. So burnout is by itself a very serious issue, and it touches both men and women. But when it comes to women, then burnout is really, really, really serious, and it is either leading to loss of productivity, loss of health, and at times women are also quitting their job totally because they are not able to handle the pressures. So now let's come to why this is a serious issue in women. Because in earlier times, men were hunters and women were nurturers. By hunters, we mean that they used to go out and bring food home, and women used to cook food at home and take care of their family. So the society was very nicely divided and demarcated into these two different roles of hunters and nurturers. And this was working very fine for them, because that time the role of men was more physical, which suited them, and women was more taking care of their children and their family and all those stuff. But now the times have changed and the roles have evolved. With this, in the change time also, when the roles have evolved, and now physicality, the physical strength is not the only criteria to move out of home and work. Like, PQ, IQ, EQ, SQ, everything is important, and a holistic personality actually can take care of everything. So now work, moving outside of the house is not only a prerogative of men. Men and women are equally shouldering those responsibilities. But even in that case, there are certain roles which are unique to women. Childbearing, like getting pregnant, and child rearing, like in taking care of an infant, breastfeeding, and all those stuff, is unique to women, and in no circumstances can be shared with men. We are sharing lot of responsibilities that men were doing earlier, but men under no circumstances can take care of this responsibility of childbearing and rearing. So the real challenge that the woman of today is facing is that along with this unique role, she's all set to create an identity for herself. Men are still working in their domain of expertise, that is moving out of the house and working. But women are all set to expand their domain and widen their horizons. So woman is not working one time. She is working 2 times. She's not working 9 to 6. She's working round the clock. And that is posing the greatest challenge in front of her. And that is work-life harmony. And as I began, it's much beyond work-life balance. Work-life balance means just striking a balance between the two. But we have to achieve a scenario where our work supports our family life and our family life supports our work. When the two sides of these coin start supporting each other, then we can actually claim ourselves to be real achievers. So what we need to achieve is not just work-life balance, we need to achieve work-life harmony. And it's actually very easy for us. It's actually very, very easy for us. For women, achieving this work-life harmony is very, very easy. Why? Because we have been created like that. Who has created us? God Himself. We are all creators of God. So do you think God can ever make a mistake? Can He ever make a mistake? When He gave this added responsibility to women of childbearing or child rearing, and also in case of marriage, after marriage, it is the woman who gets uprooted from her original home, her original position, and she moves to a new strange environment which she is not used to, and she gets settled, and she again gets rooted, and then she bears a child, she gives birth, and she takes care of an infant. So this role is not that easy. It is very tough, and not to men. So there must be something special that He has done to us. We are His special creation. It is not just by chance that, okay, we can get pregnant and we can breastfeed, and after marriage we shift to our husband's house, we change our surname, we change our identity, we change our interests, we adapt so much. How is it possible to adapt? Because God has made us like that. Men are left brain oriented, dealing with logic and reasoning, while women are right brain oriented, dealing with intuition and creativity. Women have more connections going from the left to the right across the two halves of the brain, giving them an advantage of piling together informations from different sources and drawing conclusions, and also multiplexing. Multiplexing is an amazing quality that women has got. Men are not that great at multiplexing. Whatever they've learned, but women are born with it. At one point of time, she is capable of handling 10 different things. She can keep an eye on her infant, she can talk on the phone, she can cook, she can instruct somebody, She can open the door when the doorbell rings. She can handle 10 different activities at the same time, and she can shift between one activity to the other without any grudges or without any even thought of it that, okay, I'm shifting, because she's so used to it. She can handle beautifully. She can handle it beautifully. Why? Because her left and the right brain are integrated, and it gives her the power to multiplex, do multiple things at the same time. Again, women have large amount of gray matter in their hippocampus and left caudate, which controls their memory and communication skills. In female brains, there are more wiring in regions linked to memory and communication. That's the reason women have much better memory than men. A woman can remember almost everything. Ask a man about his birthday or anniversary or whatever, they will always fail. But woman always remembers not only hers, but her entire family and her friends and relatives and everybody. She has got a picture perfect memory. She does not forget what happens 10 years before, and a man can just forget what happened 10 hours before, because the memory of a woman is much more powerful. She's more emotional, and anything that is related to emotion, that gets stored in her brain and stays forever. And she has got amazing communication skills. So that makes women, it gives her a better platform, and she's much better at handling these kind of things than men. So when it comes to playing two roles, a woman can do it. So I want to break that myth from our mind that we are working 2 times and men are just working 1 time and we are not as better off as them. No, we are made like that. God has made us like that. So we are totally capable of handling our home and handling our work equally well. It's just that we need to prioritize and strategize things properly. We need to understand our different stages, because a woman in her life, she undergoes various stages. Like an earlier age, she's studying and she's focused on her studies and everything, and that time also she excels, because I was just going through all the data, like the women toppers and the percentage of women pass outs is literally increasing every year. So that is a great signal which is saying that that women are so good and they are so focused and they are so confident. In fact, tomorrow I've been invited by the Eastern India ICAI just to speak on this topic, on how to get the women workforce back, because they are feeling that women are cream asset, they're amazing, they are so intelligent, but because of this work life imbalancing, they're not able to handle it. Majority of their cream talent is moving out, and they want to get them back. So we are having a session tomorrow on creating the life of your dreams, how you can motivating them to get back. So a woman's life undergoes through various cycle, where she gets married, she gives birth, she gets pregnant, she gives birth, and then the kids grow older and all those stuff. So a woman life will not remain the same forever. We need to understand that really well. And if we understand that well, then our problem with work-life balance goes away forever. When we are married and when we are pregnant and our kids are small, then naturally in that work-life balancing stuff, the family will take the priority. But once the kids are settled, they are at the age of 3, 4, 5, and they start going to Montessori and school, then you again start getting time, and you can again start focusing on your work. You can, maybe you don't start full time, you start part time, and as your kids grow older and your responsibility towards them decreases, their school hours increases, you can just get into that full time. So you need to just juggle between it. You need to just understand that what are your priorities at that particular moment of time, and you have to shift your requirements accordingly. Many times we feel that women are not doing that, and that creates to all sorts of problem. Once your kids are settled, you need to get back, because you've worked so hard in achieving this degree, And now, if we're not doing justice to it, then what will happen? There will be a burnout inside. You will be like, what to say? You'll be killing yourself every second, every moment. And that will be detrimental for you as well as your family. Physically, you might be giving time to your family, but emotionally, you are shattered. You're not happy. You've got that isolation inside. You've got that vacuum inside you, which is saying that you're not worthy enough. And then if you feel you're not worthy enough, will you be able to give back to family? No, not at all. You won't be able to give back to family. If somebody has 100 rupees in their pocket, then they only can think that, okay, I can part away with 50 rupees. If you just have 10 rupees, can you think of giving 50 rupees? No, not possible. So if a woman is happy, then she can spread happiness. And if she's not happy, if she's feeling lost, if she's feeling vacuum inside, if she's feeling some sort of burnout inside, what will happen? Her family will also suffer the same. Physically, she might be present for her kids, for her husband, for in-laws, but emotionally she's not, and that is sabotaging. And same the other way around. When she's pregnant, when a kid is very small and your child really needs you, that time, if you don't take care of them, then what will happen? They won't have good health. They won't have good mental, growth, their physical growth. So what will happen? That will create a lot of problems later in life. You have to queue up to the doctors. Like I'm a Garb Sanskar coach as well. So the moment women start getting pregnant, I tell them that reduce your workload. Don't pressurize. And if you can't handle, then quit. It's fine. It's absolutely perfect. It's okay. Because the amount of time that you give to yourself and to your child is going to get returned multiple times. But yes, once you are settled with your household responsibilities, get back. So a woman needs to be very intelligent to do this kind of movement. Where and how much, that is the crux of everything. Because even I did the same. I was at the peak of my career when I got pregnant with my son, but then I had to leave part of it. Yes, I had to forego. And then my daughter was born after 2 years. Then I had to forego more, and this continued for like 3 more years. And when my daughter turned 3, 4, and my son was absolutely settled, I got back in my work with a bang. And I don't think I lost on anything, because the period when I was not working, I was just raising my talents. I was improving myself. So that's another message I like to give to the women workforce, that in case because of family responsibilities you're not able to contribute, don't leave work altogether. At least keep raising your talents. Be in touch with your work, in terms of reading, in terms of knowing, whatever, so that whenever the right opportunity arises, you can get back without any hesitation. So here in this slide, I want to discuss about a harmonious, balanced life approach. So there are 6 different areas in a life of woman which needs to be balanced really, really well. Percentage of balance might change with respect to your position in life. Like family and relationship might need lot of time when you're pregnant and your child is very small, but later on this can reduce and your work and finance can become more important. Health and fitness is again very important for women, because the woman's body undergoes a lot of changes when she gets pregnant, she's breastfeeding, and then later on in life she undergoes menopause and all those stuff. So health is something which a woman needs to really take care, and she needs to ensure that she mandatorily gives some time to take care of her health. Social and community building, that is again a very important part of women, because the relationship of the house is actually being managed by a woman only. Passion, fun and recreation, this is the most neglected segment of a working woman, because she's juggling between family and her work. So in this juggle, she's either giving time to work or giving time to family, but nowhere there is a me time coming up. And if there is no me time, then that can be very sabotaging. So you need to ensure that on a weekly basis, you can at least take some time off. And do things which you love to do, because that little time also energizes you further and helps you to take care of that work-life balance. And then finally, personal and spiritual growth. As I told you, this can never stop. Even when you're on a sabbatical, you have left work for some time, you need to continue this thing of personal growth, because I'm a live example of that. I left work for a few years, but somehow I kept adding on to my knowledge, to my interest areas, and I didn't even realize that what kind of benefits that it is going to give me. And really, I feel that even if not left work and continued working, but not gained on this knowledge, I would not have been to this level which I am currently at. So whatever I invested on myself in terms of my personal and spiritual growth really returned back to me exponential. So these are the 6 areas of a life of women which needs to be balanced properly. It's not just work and family. In order that work and family happens properly, health needs to be taken care, fun and recreation needs to be taken care of properly, personal growth needs to be taken care of properly, and then social and community building should also happen, because ultimately it is your social and your community that helps you in giving you that energy, in giving you that push. So these are 6 major areas of women life, and importance and priority keeps changing as per life's situation. And understand the changing priorities and focus on these changes accordingly is the crux of work-life harmony. That is the crux. If a woman can get this and understand which point of time in her life, in which situation she should focus on what more, then she is able to handle things really well, because a woman's life is difficult, especially for a working woman. It is difficult. It's not that easy, but it can be really easy if she balances it really well. So now we'll come up with different ways of achieving this work-life harmony. So we will discuss about increasing our physical quotient, increasing our intellectual quotient, increasing our emotional quotient, and increasing our spiritual quotient. PQ, IQ, EQ, and SQ, where we focus on all the four areas, then holistically we will be able to handle work-life harmony. Then work life, your family and your work are then not 2 sides of the coin. Then they are supporters of each other. They work in tandem. The family supports work and work supports family. Both are taking care of each other, and that is the stage that we need to achieve. So first of all, we need to talk about our physical quotient. So we need to really take care of our body, because if our body is not proper, then everything falls apart. Then there's nothing, we can't focus on work and we can't take care of our family. If we really want to ensure that we can perform really good at our workplace and at the same time be very loving and caring in our family, then we need to increase our physical quotient. We can't neglect on our health. So the first aspect is positive energy, nutritious, balanced diet. Whatever we consume should have positive energy. So what do you mean by positive energy? Anything that is close to nature has got positive energy. Plain and simple. So all the greens, the vegetables, the fruits, the nuts, the dairy products, they are all having positive energy, and they need to be nutritious, they need to be balanced. So we need to ensure that whatever we are eating should be proper, because if we are not eating the right kind of things, then we are leading to health issues. The majority, 80% plus health problems in today's life are lifestyle disorders rising out of wrong food habits, wrong sleeping cycle, and all those stuff. Actually, this particular slide, I can take a 2-hour session on that, but I'm very rested. In fact, all the slides that are going to come now on, I can take an hour-long session on each of those slides. And if opportunity comes to me again, I will love to take that. But right now, I'm going to just touch upon it so that you get an understanding on all these concepts. I might not be able to go deep into it because of the time constraint, but yes, I'll cover all the aspects so that you understand that if we want to achieve work-life harmony, then these are the areas we need to take care. So our diet needs to be positive, it needs to be healthy, and the timing of the diet is also very important because if we are not eating food at the right time, then what happens? Digestion does not take place properly. If we eat very late and we go off to sleep, then what will happen? We are not able to digest our food. The food remains undigested in our system, and this undigested food starts rotting and it turns into ulcers, it turns into stones, and it creates whole lot of problems. So not only the type of food, what we are eating, but also when we are eating is very important. So it is advisable that we should eat at least 2 to 3 hours before we go off to sleep. And then there is a huge lot of discussions going on about intermittent fasting right now, that we should at least fast for 14 to 16 hours, the last meal of the day and the first meal of the next day should have a gap of 14 to 16 hours, because in this gap we can ensure that all our food gets digested, and when all the food gets digested properly, then all these problem of ulcer and stone and blockages does not happen. Now, energized water. Our body is made up of 70% water. So it is very important that we should hydrate our body really well. We should minimum drink 8 to 10 glasses of water every day. And Dr. Emoto from Japan, he had done a beautiful experiment on water where he found that the water has got crystalline structures. And when we say, and water has got memory. So when we say good words to water before drinking it, then it creates beautiful crystalline structures. And if we say something bad, then the structure that is formed is very what to say is not proper. It's very not good to look at, and it is very haphazard and chaotic. So when we are drinking water, the moment we take the glass in our hand, and if we just say some good words to water, saying that you are going to hydrate my body, and you're so important to me, and my body does wonders when it gets you. If you say some some appreciative word, or if you can just chant a mantra before drinking water, it does wonders to you. So your diet has to be good. Water, you should drink it appropriately, like a minimum 8 to 10 glasses. And while drinking, if you can chant some good words or say some good words to water, it is wonderful. Then sleep is very, very important. Not just the number of hours of sleep. Along with that, when you're sleeping, that also plays a very important role. Because if we are not slept well, then our mind is very disturbed. And all the toxins is released from our body while we are sleeping. So, and it has been found that from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning is the time where the maximum flush out of toxins happen. And if we are not sleeping during this time, like 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., like there are people who have got habit of sleeping really late, like by 12 midnight or maybe 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. Them even people who sleep by 2:30, 3 a.m. Because they're so hard pressed with their work and everything, then they're actually doing the wrong thing, because they are not taking care, not taking advantage of those healing powers in their body. And when they're not taking advantage of those healing power, then what is happening? The release of toxin is not happening, and the maintenance of the body is not happening. The growth and everything happens in sleep, even that is not happening. So it is very important that we should sleep as close as 9 p.m., maybe 10, 10:30, maximum 11. We should not delay beyond that, because if we delay beyond that, then we get lesser and lesser time. Our body gets lesser and lesser time for its healing purposes. Any sleep after 3 a.m. is just for the body, but there's nothing good that is happening that time. So that's why you'll realize that when you sleep really late, even if you sleep like good 10 hours, still when you wake up with a heavy head and you don't feel good about it. The reason being the toxins are not released, and that's the whole thing. So it is very important that our sleep should be good quality sleep, and the timing of the sleep is also very important. So we need to ensure that we should wind up things quite fast, and plus we should eat like anything at least 2 to 3 hours before sleeping, because if we eat just before sleeping, then what will happen? All the energies get diverted into towards digestion, and then what will happen? The growth work and the release of toxin and all those stuff will not happen properly. So that is like very sabotaging for our body. So it is very important that we should eat early, much earlier than we sleep, and we should sleep also early. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. We have been hearing about it since we were very small, but every word of it is actually true. It is very important that we should sleep early, and if we sleep early, we'll wake up early. And when we wake up early, it's Brahma Muhurat, the divine energies are at its peak, and that time, whatever work we do, we get results multiple times. So I'll suggest those people who are like hard pressed with work, and they are like finishing work till 3 a.m. and working, just swap their schedule, sleep early and get up at 3 a.m. That way you will get double advantage. You'll get the advantage of sleep as well, and you will get advantage of Brahma Muhurat as well. So just change this pattern. It might be difficult towards the beginning, but if you try, you will be able to achieve this cycle. It's just a mental change, and it will do wonders to you. And then exercise is very, very, very important, because 10% of the toxins get released through urine, 20% through excretion, and 70% of the toxin of the body gets released through sweat. So if we don't sweat, then all the toxins are trapped in our body itself. And when we exercise, we release a lot of positive hormones like dopamine, oxytocin, and all these stuff. And they do wonders to our brain, to our mind, to our body, and gives us a lot of healing. And finally, say no to addictions. Any form of addiction, and it includes addiction towards electronics, which is a major addiction in today's period, really affects your brain. What does addiction do? Addiction captures our brain and it numbs its thinking processes. So any form of addiction, be it tea, be it coffee, be it alcohol, be it any kind of drugs, or be it electronics, it is sabotaging to you. So if you want a very high PQ, a very good physical quotient, then you need to get over these kind of addiction, especially addiction towards electronics. You need to have some time where you just go off electronic, that okay, from this period to this period, just before you sleep, you 1 hour before you sleep, just get over your electronics. Don't touch electronics anymore, because the waves that come out of these electronic gadgets, they are very harmful to your body and they disturb your sleep. That's why majority of the people today now suffering from insomnia. People need sleeping pills to sleep. It's actually funny, sleep is something which is most natural to a human being, but today we need sleeping pills to ensure that we sleep properly. That is something which is totally against nature. And the whole credit for this goes to electronic gadgets, because these waves are so powerful that they disturb our brain and they disturb our sleep. So 1 hour before you go to sleep, just get off these electronic gadgets. Now, increasing your intellectual quotient. So here we are going to come up with strategies for achieving work-life harmony. And the most important strategy is time management. So here I won't be able to, because time management by itself is a big topic, as I discussed in PQ also. It's a big topic. So here I'm just going to touch some basics of it so that you get an understanding, and in future, if time permits, we can always deliberate further on it. So this, I really want that if all of you can just take a screenshot of this and remember this grid whenever you get stuck with your priorities. See, here on the top you have got urgent and non-urgent, and here on the vertical line you have got your important and not important. First thing you need to remember that not all urgent things are important. You need to have very good clarity between things that are urgent and things that are important. What are urgent things? Things that are not handled in time, which has been being postponed over a long period of time, has become urgent, plain and simple. So in the first grid, it is important as well as urgent. What are these things? Crisis, deadlines, last minute preparations, and task which has been postponed from 2. So urgent as well as important. So when we talk about things that are urgent as well as important, what should we do? We have no choice. We have to do it. So just do it. Don't postpone it further, because the more you postpone, the more problems it will create. So anything that is urgent for you as well as important for you, just do it. Now we come to the second block. Not urgent, but important. This is the place where you should spend 70 to 80% of your time. So whatever activities you need to do throughout the day, divide it into this grid and ensure that 70 to 80% activities lie in this. If you take care of 70 to 80% of activities in this grid, then you are absolutely sorted. You are absolutely sorted, because all the growth happens in this grid. This is a productivity grid. All strategic planning, relationship building, working towards goal, it all happens here. But problem with us is that we don't focus on it, because we love that crisis. We love that stress feeling. We love that anxiety. It gives us that kick. And then we feel that, yes, we are working. If we don't undergo that stress, we feel, oh, kuch to kar hi nahi rahe, we're not doing anything. The moment that stress comes, that gives us that kick that, oh, we should do. But you're not understanding what it is creating in your physical, emotional, mental. Like, it is just disturbing your system. We need to ensure that nothing from this grid should move on to the first grid. And that will happen if you focus maximum on this grid. So plan, focus on your planning, and don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate. Now let us come to the third grid, which is not important but urgent. What should we do about it? Not important is not important for you, but it is urgent. What are these? These are interruptions, calls, messages, social media. These are not important, but these are urgent. You need to respond to it. What should you do? Delegate. You should delegate. Delegate all the activities to someone or to some software, whatever. Now is the world of AI. So just delegate these activities which are constant distractors for you and which is hampering your productivity in your second grid. And finally, we move on to the fourth grid, which are total waste. Trivial activities, time wasters, gossip, blah, blah, blah. Not urgent, not important. What should we do about it? Learn to say no. Learn to say no. Anybody who comes, tries to suck your time, suck your energy, talking all crap, tell that person that, sorry, my time is very important and I don't get involved in these things. So just learn to say no for things which are not urgent and not important. So in order to achieve this, you should do an ABC analysis of all your work. A, very important. B is of medium level, and C is not important at all. C, just chuck it off. Either delegate or say no. If it is important, then delegate. If it is not important, then just chuck it off. Not required. B, start focusing. And A, your maximum time should go on A. So if you can take care of your grid properly, then that will really help you in achieving proper work-life harmony. Now we'll come to our third quotient, that is emotional quotient. How should we increase our emotional quotient? What do you mean by emotional quotient? Emotional quotient is our emotions. And for a woman, emotional quotient is very important. If you've got a very supportive husband, supportive in-laws, if you've got proper staff at your home, then a lot of things get taken care of. Similarly, in your office, if your subordinates are very good, if your boss is very cooperative, if your colleagues are very helpful, then again things are taken care of. So relationship is the key. It is the key. But how should we ensure that everybody is supportive to us? How should we ensure? Life is like a mirror reflecting what you do. You give it a smile and a smile comes to you. So plain and simple, if you're supportive, they are supportive. If you're not, they are not. As simple as that. Because relationship follows the laws of nature. What are the different laws of nature? You take a seed, any seed, and you think that the fruits will come without sowing the seed. Is that possible? Not possible. You have to sow. You have to sow the seed first. So that means you need to give first. In any relationship, you need to contribute first. And then you can expect the other person to start contributing to it. Then, if you take a seed of mango, what will come? Mango. You won't get papaya out of a mango seed. So, if you give love, you get love. If you give anger, you get anger. If you give cooperation, you get cooperation. If you give distrust, you get distrust. So you reap what you sow. Now, if you just put one seed of mango, do you get one mango only? No, you get multiple mangoes, hundreds of mangoes, and that too for many, many years. Similarly, you do one act of cooperation selflessly. You are overwhelmed by the cooperation from everyone around you. Then constant nurturing. You just sow the seed and you forget about it? Not at all. You need to give it nutrition, you need to give proper soil, you need to water it regularly, ensure that it is safeguarded from the sunlight, it gets the adequate amount of sunlight and everything. So you need to nurture it. Similarly, you just do one good deed and you forget. No, you need to nurture your relationship. And finally, a tree takes 100, many years to grow. It takes 5 to 10 years minimum to become strong, to become big. But if you want to chuck it off, you want to blow it off, what we need to do? We just take one spade and it is gone. In one blow, it is gone. Similarly, in relationship, it takes years to nurture, but it gets over really, really fast. So if you want to increase your EQ, you need to ensure that you put into it. You follow these laws of nature and you invest in a relationship, because this investment has got exponential returns, and your work-life harmony really balance, rests upon it. If you have got a very cooperative environment at your home, at your work, your life becomes super duper easy. And that cooperation can't happen overnight. That cooperation will only happen with your efforts. And again, how to increase your emotional quotient? Whatever be the situation, just be happy. The more happy you are able to secrete dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphin, all these hormones, and these hormones do wonders to you. So whatever be the situation, on the surface level, you might need to, scold a subordinate, scold. It's important to scold at times. But deep inside, you should be absolutely in a state of bliss. The scolding should happen only with the mouth, not from each and every, cell. Many times I see people who are who get their entire body, their whole cellular system involved doing things, which is wrong. You involve your cellular system for your constructive activities, but when it comes to negative emotion, do it at the surface. Don't disturb your internal peace, your internal happiness. The more happy you are, higher will be your emotional quotient. And then finally, we come to spiritual quotient. Our brain activates at different waves: alpha, beta, gamma, theta at different ways. When we are doing our regular activities, we're actually in the beta mode. Beta mode is the worldly mode. At which we are executing our activities. Like right now, I'm at beta mode because I'm like conversing with you, I'm telling you things and all those stuff. But if we want to achieve something, then we have to move on to the alpha mode. Alpha mode is the meditative mode. It is the mode where all the creation happens. The deja vu happens when you move on to the alpha mode. Like, all the ideas, the secretion of ideas, the flow of ideas, the innovation, it all happens in alpha mode. We talk about law of attraction, it happens in alpha mode. We start attracting the right people, we start attracting the right situations, the right opportunities. That is when we go into the alpha mode. We start materializing things. Little effort, like, the moment we get into the practice of moving more and more into alpha mode, our life will become blissful because we'll start to work smart. Now we don't need to put in a lot of efforts to achieve a lot of result. With little effort, we can achieve a lot of results. So work hard get replaces with work smart. Because the whole nature, the Brahman, the universe is supporting you. So it is very important that you should get into the practice of moving into alpha mode. And how you move into alpha mode? By doing pranayam, by doing meditation, by doing mantra chanting. All these activities, like, lessens the clutter of your brain. The thought every day we, like, more than 60,000 thoughts a day, our mind, like, it goes to maybe 1.5 lakh for people who are like stressed and disturbed. So, and the more thoughts we generate in our mind, the more, like, we are losing ourselves. So we need to slow down the thoughts, but the quality of thoughts should become better. The number should decrease and the quality should become better. And that can happen when we do pranayam, meditation, mantra chanting, all these, like, divine activity do, then we are able to move into alpha mode. And this helps in creative idea generation. It helps in resource attraction, like, attracting right kind of people, right kind of situation, opportunities. It helps in materialization. It actually helps us to work smart. In less, we are able to achieve more. And that is what we want to do. Because we want to handle our work, we want to handle our family, we want to think. So how we can do that? When by putting in little effort, if we get more results, then that's the key. So you need to increase your spiritual quotient. Actually, the time is very less. Otherwise, I would have taken you through a meditative session, maybe helped you with some mantras, like, gone into more detailed pranayam. Like, as I told you, each slide of mine needs one hour of deliberation. So which maybe in future, if time permits, I'll love to do that. So, like, these things are required that will help you to achieve that work-life harmony. So how to make your dincharya blissful, how to plan your day, that it is like really effective for you. So morning time is for your dev karma. Like, all these activities, like, as I told you, mantra chanting, pranayam, meditation, exercising, yoga, all these activities that charges your battery should be done early in the morning. What you do with your mobile, with your laptops, with your tablets, you charge them every morning, right? Why you charge them? So that they are full with charge. So are you charging yourself? Ask yourself. Every second we are depleting our energy. Like every second, the battery life of my mobile is going away. My laptop is going away. So what I'm doing, I'm carrying a power bank with me. I'm carrying the charger with me and plugging it in wherever it is required. But are we doing that? Where is our power bank? Where is our battery? We need to energize ourselves every day, every morning, like we do to our electronic gadgets. And that can be done through yoga, through pranayam, through meditation, through mantra chanting, through all these activities, through some seva activities. We can achieve that charging of ourselves. And the entire day should be spent into sansaric activity related to your work, your material growth, your family commitments, responsibilities, blah, blah, blah. Then that time we're not talking about any mantra chanting or whatever. That time you are focused. And if your energy is very high, if morning you have utilized really, really well and you've energized yourself really well, then you will work smart here. You don't need to put in a lot of hard work. With small effort, you'll get amazing results. You'll meet the right people. People will just come to you and will be shocked. Oh my God, I wanted to meet something like him so that he could help me. And the person is sitting right in front of you. So the nature will help you. The nature will help you. So the day should go into Sansarikam, and finally in the night, what we do in the night? We generally go out to party or to dine, or maybe we come back home, we put on the TV, we don't know who are around us, we are watching some serial or whatever, Netflix, blah, 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 or we are updating our Facebook, Insta, blah, blah, blah. Night time should be Shanti Karm with your family, because your family is your soul group. Your family, you have, if we talk about the theory of karmas, your family is really, really important for you. And if you give love to your family and the family gives love back, then that is the greatest energy booster for you. So night should be fun with family. Have fun with your family. Put up a song, dance, have fun, talk, enjoy, take updates about each other's day, help them with their things. So night should be Shanti Karm with your family. If you create this kind of, yes, we need to party, we need to hang out with the friends, we need to go out, restrict it to 1 or 2 days a week, but rest at least 5 days a week, do these things. Take a couple of days off for doing haywire, for going haywire, but at least the rest of the 5 days should set you back. So if you create a dincharya like this, then that will be really, really amazing, and that will really take care of your work-life harmony. So now I come to the last slide, because for me, each and every woman seated here is Ma Durga Bai herself. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Sansthita Namastasya 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 Namo Namah. To all the Shaktis sitting here, I bow down to all of you, because all of you, including me, we are doing a great job. We are doing a great job. We are taking care of our children, we are taking care of family, we are taking care of work, we are taking care of aspirations, we are taking care of everything. It's just that we have to now take it blissfully and happily. We have to take that commitment to ourselves. And it does not matter. Kabhi koi cheez thoda zyada ho gaya, thoda kam ho gaya. It's okay. Learn to let go. Learn to let go. Life is too big. 2 saal kam kaam kar liye kuch nahi hoga. It's okay. It's okay. What is important is being happy. Having a sense of achievement is most important. So have that sense of achievement. Whatever you're doing is super duper. You're doing great. And you are one of the most elite women in the country. So hats off to all of you. Have great pride in yourself, because you have it in you. Just activate your dormant powers. You've got all the powers. You're really, really amazing. You just need to activate them. You just need to sort them out. You just to organize things properly. That's it. So with this, I come to an end to my session. It was actually very, very rush, to be very honest. I was not liking it. I was rushing through all the concepts so fast. But I thought that most important is to share these concepts with you. Limited time, because I was given time till 6:10, and I have done great justice to it. I'm really happy about it. So, but in case you want, you can be in touch with me. Whatever I discussed here, I've got individual videos on relationship, on on physical well-being, on emotional well-being. I've got my videos on my YouTube channel, Sonal Jain Jaiswal, and then this is the number where you can get in touch if you have got any queries. I run support groups, so if you want, you can get added to that support group, and this is my website address and email address. So in case you want, you can get in touch with us and get involved. But most important is be happy with whatever you're doing, because whatever you're doing is super duper, is really, really great. So hats off to all of you, and great going. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonal. There are few questions which we need to address them.
Sure. Can you just ask one by one?
Yeah, I'll do that. There is this question from one of our member.
Yeah.
She is asking how to balance time when there is a health issue of some family member, as when someone gets ill, full burden comes on the female.
Yes, of course. Of course.
How to manage such kind of situation?
Of course. Seek some external support also. As I told you, it is very urgent. It is important. You have to be there, but at the same time, you need to work. So maybe you can appoint some nurse who can take care full time, and you can like really monitor. Today, like, apps and electronic gadgets, they are like very, very handy. You can do video call, you can keep checking, you can like, be in touch. So it is very situational and it is very personal. The question that you asked is very, very personal. It depends on who is the person who is sick, and what is the degree of sickness. Is like, if that person has just met with an accident, then naturally you have to leave everything and attend to that person. But if the person is undergoing some like, terminal disease or something, where the person is bedridden for a long period of time, so like you can appoint and take support from some medical expert, like, appoint a nurse or something. So the situation totally depends on your personal like, requirements at that particular time. But yes, you can delegate, you can like, handle things like this, take care of the use of these cameras and like, WhatsApp calls, video calls, and all these things.
Okay. There is another question wherein this member is working since 8 years,
Yeah.
and she is working for 14 hours a day. And she really enjoys her work. Maybe it's her work, her duties, or her social life. So on an average per day, she works for 14 hours. By the things what she likes. But whenever there is a long weekend or whenever she is on vacation, she feels her enthusiasm is not up to the mark. So what should she do to overtake to tackle such kind of situations?
Yeah. Her work is her passion, and that is an amazing thing that she has achieved, because we lose most of the time where our work is not our passion, but here her work is her passion. So that's a great thing, and that's why she's enjoying, and her work is not straining her. In fact, the work is energizing her. That's why she's able to work 14 hours a day for so many number of years. It is actually unthinkable of, but she's able to achieve it. But at the same time, I will just request her that start taking interest in your family time also, like, that recreation, that fun, even that part is very important. Like, we've got 7 chakras in our body, so your Manipur is very highly activated, and that's why you're enjoying and performing great at work. But when it is coming to Swadhisthana, you're not able to take the swad of your life. You're not able to. So there's some imbalancing happening in you, which is not correct. So start enjoying that. Enjoy your work. Continue working, no doubt about it. But yes, when you're going for your vacations, when you're spending time with your family, then take out time. Like, you have to do it. You have to do it. You have no choice. You come up with ways which interest you further, which like, energizes you, and you have to get involved, because otherwise you leave. You will like, miss on something very important in life, which you might not be realized now, but you'll realize later on. So like, yeah, like enjoy your vacations as well as you enjoy your work.
Yeah. Another question is, she wants to be the part of your Garbh Sangh WhatsApp group. So
Yeah.
she wants the details about
I've
that
already
WhatsApp
shared.
group.
I've already shared.
Okay, in your last screen,
Yeah,
right?
in my last slide, it's
Yes.
already shared. Otherwise, just go on to www.sonaljainjaiswal.com. So there you'll get all the links. So you can click and get connected over there. Yeah.
Another, the last one question.
Yes.
Other questions are, I guess, covered in your lecture.
Hmm.
Last one question is, for cooking meals and taking care of home, appointing maid is wrong?
No, not at all. Not at all. And because as I told you, you need to delegate activities, right? So there are certain things you just can't delegate. If you have to breastfeed your child, you can't delegate that. If you have to take care of certain important things, you can't delegate that. But cooking, you can delegate. But yes, you need to ensure that the food that is cooked is nutritious, it is hygienic, it is proper. The ingredients that are being used is proper. The person who is cooking is like, neat, clean, tidy, hygienic, right? So you have to take care of all those options, like, all those factors. But then yes, we just have 24 hours. Like if I take example of myself, earlier I used to cook a lot before my kids were born, but after my kids were born, I had to start giving, like, I had to give a lot of time to them. So, and I was working as well. So I have to work. I'm giving time to kids, because giving that quality time, giving them the right kind of values, the right kind of environment was very important. So like I had to forego on cooking, which was something like very special to me. I had to literally forego on that. So in life, you have to forego on things. That's why I shared that slide with you. And don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel guilty about it, because you have to forego. So you need to just realize that what is important for you at that particular point. Yes, if your child is not well, he wants to eat the food that is cooked by you. Yes, then you have to cook. Then that is required. Then that becomes important and urgent. But then daily, it's not that urgent or important. You can appoint somebody. You can ask somebody, delegate these activities to somebody. So according to me, it is absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dr. Sonal Jaiswal. Now we would move towards vote of thanks. So the heading of the session, work-life balance, which was very well corrected by you as work-life harmony, I guess, which we all would like to follow. You are very well highlighted on all the questions like PQ, IQ, UQ, SQ, and given very small tricks which we can use in our day-to-day life to create that harmony in our work life and professional life as well as personal life. So with this, on behalf of the committee, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to you. And thanks for sparing the time from your busiest schedule and sharing your thought to us. I'm sure your thoughts would encourage us and would be of great benefits to all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Now I would request CA Greena to introduce our second speaker of the day. Greena, you have to unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Our second session is on the professional opportunity as a women independent director. So it gives me immense pleasure to introduce Ms. Neha Gadda. She is basically a chartered accountant and she has done her insolvency course from the institute. Apart from that, her CV includes position which she has been held as an honorary secretary in the Chamber of Tax Consultant. She is an independent director at the Asian Star Company Limited, Tamboli Capital Limited, Sejal Glass Limited, and all the big names she is associated with. She is a chartered accountant with more than the 20 years of experience, and she has been working with the stock exchange BSE for more than 6 years. She has vast experience in the compliance pertaining to security laws, corporate laws, and she specializes in the restructuring, acquisition, and mergers, due diligence, takeover, SEBI exemption and consent application, LODR and ICDR compliances, and listing matters. She has worked with, she is in fact the founder of the Dhanish Advisors Private Limited, where she is presently associated, and she takes care of the vertical for the delisting, basically for the listed company on the exemption and consent application, delisting of the stock exchanges, CFO services, corporate law, secretarial services, FEMA compliances, and insolvency service. So with vast experience of the corporate side, I would hand over baton to the Neha Gadda for taking over from here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Greena. Thank you for the introduction. And first, let me thank and congratulate the Women Members Empowerment Committee for the brilliant and the successful designed programs, 10 successful designed programs, and you've been having an overwhelming response for each of the programs. So that's a great job you guys are doing. And secondly, I would also like to thank the Women Empowerment Committee for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on the opportunities of for women as independent director. And I would especially like to thank Preeti, who has introduced me over here. I would now start my presentation. I'll just share it. Yeah. So I hope it's visible to all of you, and
Yeah, it's visible.
yeah. After having such an energetic session with Ms. Dr. Sonal, this is purely academic, I suppose, and we had a very insightful session with her. I would like to now begin with. First of all, women director. For which all categories women director is compulsory, or for which all companies women directors are mandatory, is every listed company there is a need for women director. Then a public company having paid up share capital of around 100 crores, and or a public company having a turnover of 300 crores. So all these categories of companies, women directors are compulsory. And as per SEBI laws, that is the SEBI LODR 2015, SEBI has mandated that any company which falls under the top 500 listed entities, they have to have an independent women director on their board of directors by 1st of April 2019. Later, in the next year, April 1, 2020, all the companies, top 1,000 listed companies, should have at least one independent woman director. So, friends, we can see that India is also moving towards giving preference to women director, and it is become a mandate as per the law to appoint a woman director. However, this has been implemented since April 2015, and it is compulsory that in a listed company, at least 50% of the women director are I'm sorry for this. At least 50% seats of women director are held by the non-independent female members. In spite of, in April 2015, this law has become mandatory. Only 50% seats of women director were held by non-independent female members. Else, it was being held by the female members of the promoter group. No new persons were introduced to the board of directors. And in many PSUs, we hardly had women directors appointed in April 2015, and many corporate giants, they also didn't have women director on their board. In fact, they always had the family members, women family members of the board of the company, of the promoter, on the board of their company, and that is how they tried to comply with this given provisions. So the companies that failed to appoint even a single woman on their board stated that they couldn't find qualified women with suitable experience to be appointed as women director, and there is paucity of women directors. Friends, I feel with this our role begins, and the corporates have a presumption that there are very few qualified women director that can be appointed on their boards, and they don't see empowered women whom they can appoint on their board. So this, I feel, is a career opportunity for us, and we can consider this to get ourselves appointed as independent director on certain companies, on listed companies. So I would like to put forth the statistics on women director. So in the year 2015, since it was mandatory, there were around 497 women directors that were inducted on the listed companies board. And about 60% of women directors were independent directors. They are independent directors as on date. And other 40% are the promoter family women directors who are not independent. And there are only few companies who have more than 5 women directors, which includes GIC Housing Finance, Godrej Consumer Products, Godrej Agrovet, Apollo Hospitals. Rest, you will see that there is only 1 women director in most of the companies, since that is mandatory. So people are not willing to appoint women director, and there is a bit of hesitance for appointment of the same. Then there has been a recent survey on the top 100 listed companies, which states that only 27 companies have 2 or more independent women director, 61 have only 1, and 12 have 0 independent women directors on their board. So friends, we can understand that top 100 listed company, which forms a part of Nifty or BSE Sensex, in that also there are few companies who don't have independent women directors, and I suppose that is not a very good picture to be seen. And out of these 12 companies, 8 are public sector companies. This survey was being done for the data that was available as on 31st March 2021. Now, moving forward, we first need to understand, are we qualified to become an independent director? So yes, having a professional degree of chartered accountancy, definitely we are qualified to become the independent director. We have expertise in accounting, auditing, corporate laws, taxation, and finance. Maybe we are not expert in all of them, but in few of them we are experts, and in rest of them we at least have the base knowledge to put forth our points in the board of directors meeting. We have inbuilt ability to analyze the numbers and the draft decisions based on such numbers. We can read the numbers and we can tell whether something looks suspicious, something is not correct, or something is better, and how it can be improved. Also, the inbuilt qualities of a chartered accountant, that they see to it that confidentiality is maintained, there is integrity, there are ethical code of ethics with us, and with that I feel we are much more qualified to become an independent director. As such, the law doesn't specify that what should be the qualification of an independent director. It is open-ended, and almost anyone can become an independent director. But we being chartered accountants, definitely we hold much more better chances to become an independent director. And however, the SEBI laws do prescribe that whoever wants to become an independent director should have financial literacy and should understand various aspects of law which are associated to the regulations. So I feel, friends, we are definitely up to the mark, and we are good at consulting, advisory, risk management, and we can definitely help increase the enterprise value of a corporate. Accordingly, we are qualified to become an independent director. Otherwise, what is the eligibility for an independent director? You should have an active DIN number. We should be registered with Independent Directors Database. The minimum age to become an independent director is 21 years and maximum age is 75 years. Person should not be disqualified as per section 164(1) of the Companies Act. And the best part is a chartered accountant who has got experience of at least 10 years can become an independent director without giving the online proficiency self-assessment test. So, friends, that one more hurdle is crossed by if we are more than 10 years of experience. We need not give the exam and you are directly eligible to become an independent director. But yes, if your experience is less than 10 years, then we need to pass the online proficiency self-assessment test. Now, besides board, it's not only the board of directors where you get appointed. Besides board, there are many other committees that a listed company has to form. And we can be a part of those committees, like audit committee, nomination, remuneration and compensation committee, risk management committee, CSR and business responsibility, stakeholders relationship and grievance committee. Friends, if you see these 5 mandatory committees that a listed company has to form, I think so we will be able to contribute in each of the committee. Audit committee, that's a spearheading committee, and we can definitely contribute to the financials of the corporate. Risk management committee, I think so we've been always working on a lot of risk profiles, and we come out with very wonderful solutions. CSR and business responsibility, yes, we can take up a lot of social responsibility causes and come out with good solutions to it. So the sad part, however, is that in current scenario, there are very few listed companies wherein we have women as spearheading any of these committees. Women are not been so very shortlisted, and they don't feel them that they are competent enough to be appointed as a chairman of any of this committee. But all these committees are very critical, and we can also be a part of this committee. So considering the remuneration part of it, we get remuneration for the board of directors, being on the board of directors, and also remuneration for being on any of these committees also. The sad part again is that the remuneration is generally less than 1 lakh in most of the companies, but there are many companies who do give remuneration of 1 lakh per meeting. So yeah, you fall into what category and what type of company. Definitely the remuneration can be better. And I understand as on date, the legal responsibilities and services that we render for the board, we are not been compensated as per that, and there is no much balance into it. But I think so with things improving, definitely we will be also paid in a better way. Now, the next question is that if you are being appointed as an independent director in a company, how can you contribute to the welfare of the company, to the growth of the company? Firstly, we'll be able to do evaluations of the board and management decisions, give our opinions on it, and help them coming out with some better solutions. Then creating a balance in the interest of the shareholders. This is the very preliminary function of an independent director, wherein he's supposed to balance the interest of the shareholders, the basic stakeholders of the company, and see to it that the promoters are not siphoning any money or any wrong decisions are not being taken wherein the shareholders are impacted. Then we will be able to assist and guide in areas that may include executive remuneration, succession planning, changes in corporate control, takeovers, acquisitions, and the audit functions. The contribution that an independent director, the women independent director can give is much more greater, and the benefits that the corporate gets are much more higher if taken it in correct way. The due diligence that you should do before joining any corporate. This is very important, as you just can't join any company and wherein everything is at risk. You have to do some basic due diligence wherein you decide whether to take up this company or not. So before taking up any decision, you have to check, is it the company that you really want to work with? Are you equipped with the knowledge to meet the expectations of the company without assuming disproportionate risk? You are not supposed to take risk over here. You have to take a very balanced view on whether to join or not. Can you demonstrate that you are independent of the company affairs of the company and you are not connected into the day-to-day affairs of the company, into the day-to-day management of the company? Can you prove yourself? Can you demonstrate that you are independent? Can you rely on the formal control and the oversight processes of the company, the internal controls, the internal audits, whether they have been happening, the SOPs are in place or not? Can you rely on those SOPs and then take a decision? Can you resist unreasonable pressures from the management? It so happens many a times that when you are in a board meeting, there are cases where the management, the promoters, the executive directors, they try to pressurize you to take up some decision which maybe you are not in favor of. So will you be able to resist that, and will you be able to take up that pressure and say, no, boss, this I cannot do it and you have to excuse me for this? And the same thing, it is very important that it gets minuted in the minutes of the board meeting. This shows that you've been independent and using your own sense to take up any decision. And it's also important that the objectivity of the independent director, why independent director is been mandated by SEBI or by MCA, that objective has to be fulfilled by getting appointed on any corporate. Then rights of independent director in the corporate. So what are your rights before deciding or when you are working with any corporate as an independent director? You need to get an update as what is expected or what contribution is expected from you being the board member. What are the deliberations that needs to be discussed and what is expected out of you? That needs to be known to you. You can take professional help from experts when you are in doubt and can insist the company also that I feel we are not competent enough to take any decision on this. So let's approach some professional who will be able to decide and let us know how to take the matter ahead. Demand all board related papers well in advance to prepare for board meetings. Friends, in today, there are so many companies who give the board papers just 1 hour before the committee meeting or before the board of directors meeting. This is not done. You will not be able to see all the documents that they give you in an hour's time. You need to have at least 3 to 4 days advance agenda in your hand with all the related papers to decide and to discuss the matter in the board meeting. So this is your right, and it's absolutely fine to ask for those papers. Now, with rights comes responsibilities of women independent director. So what are your responsibilities? When an agenda comes to you, when the notice comes to you, you need to prepare for the board meeting. You just cannot go there and sit and observe what others are doing. You have to prepare. You have to give your inputs. You have to put up your work so that it gives a better output. Then you have to be very clear and sound about certain decisions related to the company and its business. You cannot be just sitting quiet and not uttering a single word, wherein neither are you saying yes to it, neither are you saying no to it. You have to be very clear whether you are for it or you are against it. You just cannot sit like that only, mum. You need to give your free and frank expression of opinions. There would definitely be certain controversies that would be happening, and how you handle it, how you tackle it, and that particular given situation is very important. Also, you need to be aware about latest developments in the area of the company. If the company is into engineering sector, if it is into jewelry sector, you need to understand the nuances of those businesses so that you are able to give better inputs to the company working. Then the independent director has the responsibility to act in the larger interest of the stakeholders. And that is how they help to grow and develop the company. Very important is you have to abide by the code of conduct that has been prescribed by the company. There are certain rules and regulations. You cannot buy shares of those companies during certain periods. You cannot sell. You are in possession of a lot of price sensitive information and you have to be mindful about it. You just cannot be bindas and do whatever as you wish because you are in possession of many important things. Neither it's not only you, but neither your relatives and family can do any act based on the price sensitive information that you have. You have to be very careful. There are very strict insider policy norms given by SEBI. And if you fail to do that, there are penalties, monetary penalties for that, and which is not correct also. So this is the very biggest responsibility I feel being an independent director, wherein you have to follow the code of conduct and the insider policy norms. Also, it is very important that you keep all company related information strictly confidential. Strictly confidential meaning you cannot share it with anybody, your friends, either on phone or on WhatsApp or when you meet personally. And there have been many landmark cases, judgments, wherein a person who does that have been facing a lot of implications of monetary penalty. Then you have to take, whenever you join a company, it's very important that you understand the working of the company. You have to take the induction of that company. You have to visit their factory. You have to visit their warehouses whenever in a possible time and try to understand how the company functions and what is the hierarchy, how the work flows. It is very important to have an induction and understand the working of the company. Then we need to get familiarized with the company and its working, its promoters, its main KMPs, the key managerial personas. Wherever appropriate clarification or information is required, we should seek for that information and not feel sorry or afraid to ask for it. Wherever professional advice is required, we take that advice from experts, and we see to it that we try and attend all the board meetings and all the board committee meetings, because if you're not attending that, it will not be right on our part. We are not doing justice to the shareholders of the company. And it is very important that we do participate constructively and give our suggestions actively. And also it is important that we attend all the general meetings of the company and don't shy out in attending any of these meetings, as our words are also important. Our thoughts are also important, and that needs to be put forth before the shareholders in the general meeting. Also, if you see that there are certain concerns in the running of the company, if the company working is not going on so properly, you have to see to it that it gets resolved. If it is not getting resolved, then we try to get out some solutions. We call for certain consultants or certain ways in which it can get resolved. And if in spite of that, if it doesn't happen, then it is important that your concerns are getting recorded in the minutes of the meeting. This is very, very important, as this is what is going to help you if there have been any frauds or any problems in the working of the company. And it is also important that any related party transactions are happening. Before approving those related party transactions, you take due care and understand the whole transaction before approving those transactions. Also, there has to be some vigil mechanism in the company wherein all the stakeholders are being, all the stakeholders' interest has been preserved. And if you see that there is any unethical behavior or suspected fraud in the company, it is very important that you report to the regulators or the concerned teams and take up the matter further. So these are the duties, and also, assist in protecting the legitimate interest of the company shareholders. Fine. So more or less, we've covered all the duties of the company, of the independent director. And when independent director, when you are taking certain rights, certain benefits of it, there are certain duties that needs to be fulfilled. And what are the benefits of the independent director to the company? So why the company will appoint an independent director in the company? One is because it is mandatory as per the regulators. But besides that also, there are some other benefits also which a company gets by appointing the independent director. So by appointing a women independent director, they ensure the practice of legal and ethical behavior of the company, and it strengthens accounting controls. They see to it that there is some outsider who's also watching us, who's also looking into our accounts, into our processes. So that fear helps to ensure that the company accounting controls are being strengthened. Then increase the popularity of the company through the contacts of the independent director and expertise. So these independent directors that have been appointed by the company are all qualified chartered accountants or lawyers or cost accountants or company secretaries who are popular in their own field, who are experts in their own field. And this, their expertise benefits the company also. Be a part of long-term decisions which need to be taken for the welfare of the company. Like if the company has started some CSR activity, and since the chartered accountants are very good in evaluating a proposal and all, any proposal can be looked into a long-term vision, and a decision can be taken as to how it will benefit the company, the employees, the people around, the village where the factories are. That is how a decision can be taken, and that contribution can be considered. Also, a company can survive its growth and prosper over a time through improved succession planning. Since we know that in India, we have most of the companies, those are with family board of directors, and it's very necessary that there is a succession plan that is already put in place. So with appointment of certain independent directors who are qualified, it helps in drawing a good succession plan and taking the matters ahead. Now, with this, all things, what we at the background, what we are seeing and understanding, there is certain need of the hour, that what needs to be improved on, how the regulator has to help, how other professional institutions need to help, or how we ourselves have to groom ourselves to become effective independent director. So the first is the director recruitment process in the corporates should be inclusive, and adequate training opportunities should be given to women. They should try and include women whenever they are trying to appoint a woman director, and certain trainings can be given wherein opportunities can be created for women. Then there would be a deliberate attempt to hire woman director through affirmative action. It's not just calling for an interview, but yes, you have to appoint a woman director, and thereby showing that you are positive about the whole thing and you are willing to try balance the women and the men ratio. Then also just a vague legislative, this is a vague legislative that we have mandate by MCA and by SEBI, wherein they say that you have to appoint one women director. So people are doing it just for the purpose of compliance, and factually we are not so very sure how many are really willing to have a women director on their board. So that is still not solving our problem. And many cases we see token appointments. Token appointments are those are the appointments of director just for the namesake. It's like those are the dummy directors, and they don't contribute to the working of the company, neither are they qualified, but since they are women, they form the part of the company and try to comply with the compliances as given by the regulators. So going ahead, how do we improvise on this, or what would be the way forward for us? So understand the true essence of independent women director. So the problem that the regulators have mandated that there should be an independent woman director, this is often treated as a ceiling for a number of people, and it can be included. They include women director in the category, and however, corporates are advised to treat these mandates as guidelines and not stick to it and just follow that only one woman director is required, so we'll appoint only one. But no, like those other companies we've seen wherein there are 5 women directors on the board, they should try and incorporate more and more women directors on the board. Then corporate should avoid this tokenism wherein they are trying to appoint the grey directors who don't have any qualification. They should try and avoid those type of women directors, as their argument that there is dearth of women directors is wrong. There are so many number of chartered accountants, company secretaries who are women and who are really fit to become the women director. Also, board needs to widen their search for women directors. As on date, they are just looking into their family and friends for women directors. They don't go beyond that. So it is very important that they should check out with other employment agencies. Friends, there are quite a few employment agencies who do have a search for women director. There are a lot of if you search on LinkedIn also, there are many opportunities that are available to be appointed as women director on a company. So we can take benefit of all such websites, and boards also, it's very important that boards also go and look into those CVs and go for it instead of just looking into their own closed circle. So this is very important, and then only they should, at least the nomination and remuneration committee should have 5 to 6 CVs with them to decide whom to appoint and how to appoint it, and who is the best capable person to get appointed on the board. So diversity in the quality of board members is very important, and just not the family member, women director should be appointed on the board. And the regulators have to be, the mandate given by the regulators for appointing women director, it has to be little more bolder, wherein more strict actions will be taken in case if they find any deficiency. And this corporate governance norms of women director, it is very necessary that they are accepted in spirit and not just for the sake of doing it. So friends, to end with, what you don't see, you don't become. So it is very important that women in leadership serve as role models for women entering the workforce and provide inspiration for other women to rise and occupy leadership positions. Also, friends, you can connect with me. There are few institutions who are very much into this appointment of these women directors, and there are certain groups of women director wherein the women, I mean, they all come together and they discuss for various opportunities that are available. So we can connect with that, and definitely we can seek certain inputs from them also. Yes.
Thank you, CA Neha. We would take a few questions.
Sure.
In case the company fails to appoint an independent woman director, then what are the consequences, or what are the actions taken by MCA or SEBI?
So SEBI, consequences are there. There is a penalty of ₹5,000 per day in case of a listed company if the woman director is not been appointed. However, 3 months grace period has been given. If a woman director is there and she's left the organization, the board of directors, they get a 3 months period within which they are supposed to appoint a woman director. And in case of MCA has been sending certain notices to this public companies which are not listed companies, but I see not very strong actions taken by MCA currently. But in case of stock exchanges, they are levying penalty, and this penalty comes quarter on quarter if you've not complied with. Even if after paying, there are companies, penalties have been levied, they don't pay those penalties, they don't appoint women director. What happens is, as a consequence, if you don't do this for 2 quarters, the demat account of the promoters, they get frozen, they get freeze. There are no debit and credit allowed in their demat account, and they have to pay. That gets unfreeze only once when these penalties are being paid. And in spite of that, after freezing also, if they don't do it, then the company goes under suspension. These are the actions that are being laid down by SEBI in a phased manner. It takes roughly 6 to 7 months for the whole action to take place after the 3 months cooling period.
Okay. The next question is how to get added in the database of independent directors. If you can just highlight the step-by-step procedure.
Acha, okay. For that, through MCA site, we have to go to the independent directors database website. And the process is very simple, but first thing, you need to have your DIN number to get registered on that. Once you have the DIN number, you can register, and there is a nominal fee that needs to be paid. It's lifetime fees 25,000 and yearly fees is, I suppose, 5,000. So maybe I can share the link. There are proper FAQs mentioned in that, and we can follow that and get ourselves registered. This is a very basic thing that can be done.
Okay. Is it required to be an IP for being appointed as an independent director?
No, IP is not required. IP is not required. See, we all are chartered accountants. CA is good enough. If you have 10 years of experience, you have to just register with the independent directors database, but you need not give that exam. In case you are less than 10 years, you have to give that exam. Believe me, that exam is very simple, and the course material is already put on the website. The course material is fantastic, and it has got, in fact, besides giving the exam also, it gives you so much of insight of the behavior of, the responsibility, the duties of the board of directors, and it really helps. Academically also, it very much helps. So IP is not required.
The next question is, how are the corporates incentivized for promoting women director appointment in terms of recognitions or special ratings like that?
So there are, frankly speaking, yes, there are certain recognitions of corporate governance excellence rewards. That is by Times of India, also by our institute also, and I suppose by government also. But somehow those those picks only those top 50 companies, and the lower bench, wherein at BSc we have almost 4,000 and odd listed companies. So the other less than those 100 companies, 3,900 companies, they are not been motivated and they are not been inspired. Only penalty, since they will be levied with penalties, that is the fear, and penalties are really high because it's on a daily basis. Based on that only, they are motivated and inspired to appoint a women director. And that is where the problem is, where they appoint people from their known circles who are ready to do the grey directors, who are not much qualified. But yeah, but things are changing, friends. The mid-cap companies, they are definitely looking for women directors, and it's really difficult to find a appropriate women director for the company.
The another question is, are there any qualifications required to be a woman director? Woman independent director?
No, as such, see, a BCom graduate also can become a woman independent director. If you want to become a listed company, the basic qualification is you should have some financial knowledge and should be able to read the accounts and understand the law. That is as per SEBI. The basic qualification is required, so which I suppose even a BCom graduate can do it. But I'm sure that if we are looking for some good companies, the inputs given by a BCom graduate and inputs given by a chartered accountant would be much more different and much more superior than what a BCom graduate will be giving. So definitely we stand much more better position to get ourselves appointed on the list on any of the companies.
Okay, we have covered almost all the important questions. Now we'll move towards vote of thanks. So you have very well covered and touched upon all the important aspects of an independent woman director, their benefits, their requirements, and also the database wherein quite a lot of women like us can enroll for this designation. So on behalf of the committee, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to CA Neha Gadda for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions. Thank you. Now I would request the tech support team to conclude this session.